Okay, in the last video, I put this structural system in, and let me assure all of the engineers and architects out there who are looking at this going, holy cow, you can't span a 2x12 that far. Well, let me assure you that I do send my work to a structural engineer and they mark it up. But I got to thinking, what is the span of a 2x12? And if we look over here, you can see that a floor joist 2x12 at 16 inches on center, which is what I have this drawn, can span about 17 foot 10 inches. Now that's a maximum span. So if I measure from, I think this is my basement wall. It's pretty close anyway. That's the, and this is the steel beam, and I'm over 18 feet. So that's too much. So what I want to do, I'm going to take this steel beam and I'll pull it back to here. And then because right now the span is to here, which is 20 something. Let's take a look at what I got here. 21 feet. There's no way that's going to happen. It's going to happen. And so 2x12, span 20 foot 7 at 12 inches on center. So if I move this beam, this steel beam, back from here to here, and then grab it all, stretch it all the way over to here, I can cut my floor joist span substantially. Now, it's possible that the contractor is going to make these 2x10s because that span is, oh yeah, it'd be crazy to use 2x12s here. So I might as well change that first of all. Let's grab the structure, and then I go to the properties. And right now the properties are 2x12. I'll change that to 2x10. That makes more sense. That'll be 2x10. Those will be 2x12. And this, I'm going to have to change the structure here now. So let's see if we can grab that and edit the boundary. So now very simply, I'll just align my structure back to there. But while I have it selected, I'm going to change the spacing in the properties from 16 inches to 12 inches. And let's see what happens when I say okay to that. Okay. So, Right, so let's edit this boundary and pull this guy back too, so I can delete this and this and trim extend this, because I want all of these 2x12s to rest on this steel beam. And there we go. All right, so now I have my 2x12s here. And what did we say the distance was? The span is 18 feet. Okay. And a 2x12 at 12 inches on center will span enough. So I could maybe have left it at 16, but that might be a bouncy floor. And although lumber is expensive, bouncy floors, the cost of the lumber is a one-time thing. The cost of bouncy floor is lifetime. So, all right, let's grab this guy now and change him. Edit the boundary. So I'm in the properties. I'm going to change the beam type from 2x12 to 2x10. And then I'll change the boundary here so that it goes to the other side of the steel beam. And let's pull this guy down to here. And yeah, I can put a line across there too. So where I'm putting this line is the inside of the rim joist, or the bond, the 2x10 bond. Let's clean this up. Right. And then the other thing that I did not do is leave the space for the stairs. So let's do that now. All right. So if we're just going to put floor joists in there, that's what it would look like. But I have a stairway here coming down from above. So I want to modify my opening. So I will edit the boundary and I don't know how to do that. I might do it in I might have to do it in two parts now. So let's grab a line here. It'll just come straight down. When I look at my sections, I'll be able to modify the actual location of this piece. I'm guessing really that it should be there. So I can't put two separate systems in on the same, because there's no connection between the two. So I'm going to have to leave this one like that. I got an error message, so we'll continue. And I think it's telling me I didn't look for, well, first of all, we'll do this. Try to trim it, try to fill it. That's what I call that. Okay. And now I'm going to pull it out and I'll say yes. And hopefully it will actually highlight where the problem is. And I think the problem is that I still have another line someplace else. Beam directions not specified. Well, it would help if I would read what the error message was. Usually the error message is that the lines are connected. So we'll continue and then we'll say beam direction and I'll do this. Now I've told it to beam direction and it goes in. Okay, so it doesn't hurt to read the instructions, even though I was assuming that it was something other than what it was. All right, so now we're going to go back to structure and we're going to beam system and we're going to sketch. And all right, let's just draw from here. Now that's going to, because that's my first line, that will, Revit will think that I want that to be the span direction. So I'll have to fix that too, but that's all right. And this guy comes down to here. Let's grab this line by just clicking on him. And let's do the same thing over here just to be lazy. Now we'll clean it up. Trim extend. And there. Now the beam direction is wrong, so I'm going to put it here. Let's double check it's 2x12. Let's change that to 2x10 and say okay. And look what happened. I didn't change the beam direction. So okay. Edit the boundary. I get the beam direction again. I'll grab it over here. Now that's the beam direction. They don't have to be 12 inches on center there because it can definitely span 16 inches on center here. And if I can grab this structure again here. Whoops, I almost had it. Difficult to grab it. Sometimes I have to go to a section to do that. I was able to get that one. These are 2x10s. Okay, and they're 16 inches on center. Okay, so we're pretty good there. And then I saw this beam didn't quite go far enough, so I'll grab that beam and drag him over just a little farther. Okay, and He's a little bit too far, maybe. Might go underneath. Let's put it underneath the rim joist instead of stopping it at the rim joist. All right, I like that. Okay, so now I've got my span correctly done, and I have not opened this up yet for the stairs. So I have to fix that still. So let's see if now if I can grab the structure, and it looks like I'm having a hard time. So my workaround for that is simply, I'm gonna try one more time here. Let's hit the tab key, see what happens. There we go, got it. Edit the boundary. So we need to stop this for the stairs. So that's what sits on the, I think I might not have one there. Oh, we'll just do it to here for now. When I get to my sections, it might, well, it probably almost definitely will change. So use the align tool. What I'm saying, it's not going to be exactly that. I'll go back in and fine tune it. So you can see what I'm doing here. Whoops, what I did. All right, yeah, and this guy. And then we'll take him out. What about him? Take him out. Okay, so my framing will do this. So the beam can't go through there either, because that would get in the way of the stairs. All right, so another mistake. What does it say here? Cannot intersect each other. Okay, it's highlighting this one. So that's where the problem is. So let's try trim extend. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. And what's going on here? Lines cannot intersect each other. The highlighted lines currently intersect. Cancel that. I'm going to click on it and delete it. See if there's another one there. I don't see another one. So let's put it back. But we'll put it back by not doing the undo. We'll put it back by, so, oh, here it is. See this right here? This little piece right there. Yep, there we go. That was the problem. So it wasn't what I thought, which was that this line was an issue. Okay, we'll say okay. And all right, now I gotta cut the beam. Let's see if we can cut that beam. Oops, did we? I think we did. So now I'm going to say disallow join. Click this little dot right here. Because I think that if I didn't do that, it's possible that it would simply move this end over here, but it would drag that end with it. Sometimes that happens. And oh, look at that. Look at what happened here. Okay, so disallow join. Let's disallow that join. Let's see if we can pull that back and pull this guy back. Definitely having trouble here. Okay, I'm going to save that. I'm not sure what the problem is now. Let's see. All right, seems to be working okay. I'll just drag it over. And eventually I'll come back in and make sure that the beam is correct in its location. But oh, and I'll probably have to put another beam or some, that's a long span. Maybe I can change that, right? Maybe I can change this to 16 inches on center. What's the span here? 15 feet. So I could change that area right there to 16 inches on center. So what would that save? One, let's save two of them. Probably not enough to be concerned about. So I don't know if I would put a steel beam across there. Well, see, the thing is, I don't make that decision. The structural engineer will make that decision. And that's why I'm not being too critical of what's happening here, because he might be changing things. So I'm not sure what he's going to do, but if he does change some things, then any effort that I put into it right now would be a waste of time. So I'm going to save it, and let's take a look at a section through here. So I'm going to go to my first floor architecture because I know I have section lines there. And as I said before, I generally am only working with one. And now you can see I have two section lines going in that direction and one this way. But let's go to the view. And what I'm looking for is to see where my 2x10s are. So what do we got here? That's going all the way. That's the change in span to the smaller. And the 2x10s, look at that, they're in the right elevation, the right height. So what the carpenter is going to do, he'll put a shim here, and he'll put some sort of a shim here to make up for the difference in elevation. And the reason I did that is not structurally, it's just economics. There's no reason for this to all be 2x12. So we'll save it and go back to the first floor plan. And then I want to just come over here because I think there it's 2x10s. We'll look at that section now. Should see 2x10s in the front. Sure enough, got 2x10s in the front. Okay, I like that. Now I did ask the contractor, because you're seeing the mud base and tile here. You can see how much height there is there. I did ask the contractor, does he want me to drop the subfloor, which means they would cut the plywood and put it between the floor joists, and then that would drop the tile area by 3/4 of an inch. Or did he want me to add another piece of plywood so the carpenters will lay this plywood straight across, regardless of what kind of flooring, and then where the carpet's going to go, the carpenter will come back in and add another sheet of, probably not plywood because it's expensive, but it'll be 3/4 inch OSB or something like that, so that fits in there. So anyway, you can see that I didn't cut the building pad out of the basement yet, so the ground goes right through it. But that's a building pad. We'll do that later. And I'm gonna say this is pretty much a good place to stop.